I'm really happy to be here. It's quite early in the morning for me, but nonetheless, I'm all excited about this. So yes, I promise for this to be fun. So hopefully you have fun as the same way as I am. So let's get started. So exam preparation, when we hear exam preparation, sometimes we think, oh, boring, right? So, but what I want to show you today is that not necessarily. And obviously, there are a lot of different international examinations, but this session is focused on Cambridge examinations for young learners. Okay, so tell me, you're preparing your students for exams. So can you type in the chat box what the challenges are you finding or have you found? Or are you intending on preparing your students for exams? So what do you think the challenges that you're going to be encountering? Please chat them put them in the chat box. Can I see the chat? Yes, I am. Spelling mistakes. Fear of exam settings. Yes, that's right. Not yet. Okay, motivation, worry. Teaching to produce, oh, it's gone. Nervousness, that's right. Not reading questions fully, that's correct. But as a teacher, what are the challenges that you as a teacher find or have found? Vocabulary is okay. So that's talking about the students. But what about you as a teacher? As a teacher, sometimes what I have found in my experience are the following. Sometimes the first one is this: the balance, to balance the teaching that we do between learning and or teaching and exam preparation, right? Sometimes we have to, in the school, you know, we have to follow our syllabus, and then we have to finish the book, and then at the same time we have to prepare our students for exams. That can be a challenge in itself for teachers, correct? Because in between this and then the events that you have to prepare, etc., it's a lot of things on for the teacher. And this also puts teachers into more stress because it's more demanding, right? Just teaching English in general can be demanding because you have to look at all these different things and different plannings that you have to do as well, but also planning for exam preparation puts another strain on your work, right? So it tends to be more demanding. But another challenge for teachers is that some of the things you were saying before, motivation, students are anxious about the exams, and then it can tend boring as well because of the lack of variety in tasks, because you have to be preparing students, so you have to be repeating the same tasks all the time. So it can become very boring. And of course, all of these is on teachers usually, right? So I think there are other things, obviously, the ones that you were mentioning, but the curriculum itself, as well, as some of you are saying now in the chat box. But I found that these are the three more difficult things that that teachers face, right? So, but what I have found as well in my experience is that one of the things that we need to focus on is understanding the test. Once as teachers we understand the test, then we can tell the students what is tested, and that makes it easier for us to combine learning and preparing for tests at the same time. So another strategy is overt exam preparation. So even though for Cambridge exams, they say it's not obligatory to take a preparation course, yet we can see. I'm an examiner myself, and I can see when the students come in, the ones who have been prepared and the ones who have not. You can see the difference. So because students who have been prepared, they become more relaxed, they are more sure about themselves, and obviously this helps their results. Also, I believe that you should prepare your student throughout the school year rather than just at the end. What I have found in my experience is that many teachers tend to, or schools tend to prepare students towards the end of the year, like 1 to 3 months just before they do the exam, and it's not as effective as if you teach them throughout the school year, because like that then you can combine learning and preparing and exam preparation together, and it makes it less boring, less tedious. So I would recommend to do the exam preparation throughout the whole of the school year. And obviously practice, 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 you know, like the saying goes, practice makes perfect. So however, sometimes, as I was saying, it could, the practice and practicing the same thing might tend to be boring. So what we need to do is to introduce some fun activities, right? And this is what I'm going to be giving you some ideas for to make it less boring. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on a few activities, focusing on some specific tasks that are in Cambridge exams. So, of course, as you know, the exams are starters, movers, and flyers, where starters is the pre-A1, movers is A1, and flyers is A2. And as you know, they are divided into 3 papers. They call it papers, correct? So the first paper that we can to have a quick look is listening. So for the listening paper, I'm going to show you an example. In listening part 1 of starters examinations, students or candidates are given a scene where they have to listen to a dialogue, and they can hear the description of some names. You could see the names on the top are below the photo as well, or below the scene. And candidates listen to a dialogue, and where the descriptions of the scenes are, and they have to match the name with the correct person, right? So talking about that, as teachers, we need to understand what is tested in each task. Can you tell me, based on that, what it is that is tested in this first part, listening part 1 of starters? Any ideas? What is it tested? Description, yes, the description of people. So what sort of language are we looking at? Also names, yes, because they have to match the description with the correct person. So they are, yes, they also looking at a present continuous, because also the description contains what people are doing, right? Like the little girl there is feeding the ducks, for example. But also they need to understand names, male and female names, and also remember that they need to be able to distinguish between names that are male and female, but also the ones that can be both. Names like Alex, Pat, Sam, etc. Right? So, so you're talking clothes as well, the vocabulary of clothes, describing people as it is on the screen, and also, sorry, because I was distracted with the chat. So what do we need to do for practicing? Well, describing pictures, a different range of pictures where they can see people doing things. So that's what we need to do. And if you, so I could see on the chat that some people are saying they don't have a course book for preparing for exams. If you don't, you can also think of your textbook. Most textbooks, and I'm going to show you one here, most textbooks, they have at the beginning of each unit a really nice opener with great pictures, right? Usually. If it doesn't, then you can change. but the books contain usually these great pictures that you can use to get students practicing the language of description. Yeah. So what I'm saying here is use every opportunity that you have to train your students. Don't wait until you have the exam preparation book. Don't wait until the end of the year, or don't wait until just 1 month before the exam. Just do it with the course book that you have, and try to make descriptions of, or make use of these materials that you already have, right? Like here, for example, the boy in the blue shorts is what? Is flying a kite, right? So I'm talking about description, I'm practicing vocabulary. You can get students to be writing those sentences, etc. Okay. Another example is this, what you can see on the screen is listening part 5 for the movers test. So what can you see there is a typical task on the test. And what is it expected of students? Well, they are presented with this scene where they have to color based on instructions that they will hear, a dialogue. So an adult will be describing or asking to a child to color specific objects on the picture, on the scene. So what is it that they are testing? What is it they're testing? Help me. Vocabulary, colors, position. Yes, that's correct. Positions. So prepositions, they need to understand prepositions. So for movers, they only have to write one word, and for flyers, they have to write 2 words, correct? So it's a similar type of task. So they need to be able to understand prepositions. So for example, they will hear instructions like write like you see on the screen, write the word windy on the kite. I think that's what it says on the kite. Yes. So they need to understand prepositions, very, very important. Or like you see the bird there. So color the bird on the tree, whatever color they say, right? So I'll give you an idea here. Have you heard of the classroom fairy? So yes, we need to practice prepositions, but we have to find different ways in which they can practice preposition in a more fun way, correct? So the classroom fairy, what's the classroom fairy about? Well, what you could do is to of course you have to prepare one day before you come to classroom, but you tell your students, okay, guess what, children? Yesterday, the classroom fairy came and she moved stuff. Move the clock on the that I had on the wall. I don't know where it has gone. It moved the rubbish bin, or it moved the books. It moved whatever objects that you can have in your classroom. You move them. So one day before, you move them around the classroom, and the following day you tell this story to your students, and you get your students to find the objects. Of course, find them and write the sentence. So for example, they can say the clock is on the chair. Students write the clock is on the chair. They can do it in pairs, they can do it on their own, whatever it is, it's better for them. And then maybe that will be for starters, but for movers, they can make more sophisticated sentences, like the clock is on the door, it should be on the wall. Actually, this is for flyers, because by flyers, they need to be using or be familiar with, be able to use models. So the clock is on the door, it should be on the wall. So you move them. Oh, I was distracted. He said, you have me full screen, but the PowerPoint has gone. I think it's still on, right? The PowerPoint? Yes, okay, thank you. Right. So so yes, going back to the classroom fairy. So you could do that. And then for the next session or for another time, you can get to a classroom fairy to make that for one of your students. You know, one of your students can become the classroom fairy in secret. He hides stuff away, and then the rest of the class finds the objects. Of course, the vocabulary or the objects that you hide should be in line with the level of your students. Okay, so that's an idea to practice prepositions. So let's move on to another paper, the reading and writing paper. What can we do here? See this example? This is part 3 of the reading and writing paper for starters. So in this part of the test, students are presented with names of animals jumbled up. Yeah, so what they need to do is to write the correct name of the animals on the lines. Okay, so what it is that we're testing here? What are we testing here? Animal recognition, yes. Names of specific objects, yes. Spelling is totally spelling. That's correct. So they need to be able to spell letters. So what do we need to do? We should use fun games, you know, like puzzles, like you see here on the screen. Okay. And they love doing this sort of activities. And there are many books now, they have this type of activities. And if your book doesn't, well, there are a lot of extra activities online where you can find this type of activities to practice for this part of the exam. Also, you can do this type of activities, right? Where students fill in the gaps, so that they can practice their spelling. Now, if you don't have the time to find this type of activities or create them, etc., as it tends to happen with us teachers, you can also do something really quickly and works well. You know, as I said, do the preparation throughout the year, like at the beginning of your class or at the beginning of your day, you can write these jumbled up words on the board and get the students to put them in the correct order to make a correct word. So what is this one? Put them in the correct word. This is jumbled up. Swan, yeah, that was quick. That's correct, right? So that doesn't take a long time. So you arrive, you write the word on the board, or the jumbled up word on the board. Once you get everyone seated, everything organized, and students are practicing for that part of the exam without really taking too much time and too much effort on your part to prepare. Or you can also put the words like this, so that the students get the letters that go in between. So which one is the word here? Yeah, the word is snake, right? So things, activities like that don't take that much time on your part of your class, and they are still practicing for the exam. Okay, you're still preparing your students for the exam. So let's have a look at another example. Well, actually, some of you were mentioning this in the chat earlier on, that there is a vocabulary list for each of the exams, right? There's a vocabulary list for starters, for movers, and for flyers, as you can see on the screen, and they are organized by topic. So basically, as students, we need to get them ready for, as teachers, we need to get students ready for being able to spell all these words there on the list. So again, another activity that you could do is play bingo. Have you played bingo? Have you played bingo? Yes, so you know how to play it, right? So let's do that quickly. I won't be checking on you, but let's try it. So if you have a pen and paper next to you, draw a grid of 9. Yes, ready? Tell me if you're doing it. Yes, kids love playing bingo, and teachers too. I've seen that. So draw a grid of 9, right? Then I will ask you to choose 9 colors at random. Well, you know, based on the Young Learners list, if you remember them, but if not, just any any 9 colors that you can remember, write it down. 1 on each space. Yes? Yes, you write them down on your bingo list. Okay. So what happens now? What happens now? So now that you have all your numbers there, sorry, your colors there, what am I going to do as a teacher? Imagine I'm your teacher, you're the students, and then I'm going to call out colors. And who wins? The one who can write 3 words, he gets the 3 words in a row, either horizontally, diagonally, or vertically, correct? Yeah? Are we ready? Did you write your colors? Yes. Okay, so let's try to play. So let's see if you get these colors. If you do, please write in the chat box, bingo. Okay, so let's see the colors. Red, white, yellow. Oh, that's really quick, Maram. Okay, let's do other 3, see if we have more people. Purple, black, yellow, blue. Another bingo. That's great. Okay. Great. That's great. Okay. So like that, again, you know, you're practicing spelling. We're making it fun. And again, you don't have a lot of preparation to do. You just get students to draw the grid in their notebooks. And it also helps as an icebreaker, as a starter of the class, or you can do it during your class to change the pace. They're saying here that Maran cheated. Okay, well, that may happen as well, but it's fun, right? We're having fun. That's the main thing. So as I was saying, you can use this to change the pace of your class, for example, and doing things like that. And again, we are practicing the vocabulary list that Cambridge gives us for any of the levels, yeah, starters, movers, or flyers. So that's another idea. So let's move on to speaking. I'm just checking them on time. So for the speaking paper, I'll show you this example. So this is speaking part 1 of the starters examination. And here again, the students are presented with the scene, and the examiner asks the type of questions like, where's the chair? And the students or the candidates have to answer by pointing, correct? So what are we testing here, or what is it tested here? Vocabulary, understanding of vocabulary, and also prepositions as well, yes, because it also tests understanding and following spoken instructions. So again, they have to point, right? It might be routines as well, but definitely prepositions, because after they have to point, like where's the chair, they have to point, and they also presented with little cards where they have to put them on the scene, right? But talking about the pointing part of it, I have found a nice activity that teachers love, and I want to share with you today. The magic wand. Have you used the magic wand? No? Well, this is my magic wand. Look, can you see it? I think you can. There, it's my magic wand. It's a straw. It's a piece of straw and a feather that you can find in any stationery. Okay, so what do we do with this? So the idea of the magic wand is to practice language, obviously, but like also pointing instructions, right? So maybe we can write numbers and drawing shapes with this. So for example, we could do things like point to the door, point to the point, and then students do their own, and they can do it with you. Okay, so you could also do like, but practice vocabulary, like draw a triangle. So everyone draws a triangle with you, you and your students. Draw a circle, draw a small circle, draw a big circle. So we're practicing vocabulary with this in a more fun way. And the idea is that students do their own magic wand. So all you have to do, you ask them to bring a straw and a piece of feather, some glue, you stick it in, and there we go. Everyone's got a magic wand. So, and it makes it more memorable. It makes the practicing of vocabulary, the practicing of pointing more more memorable and more fun, right? And it's, again, is a very easy activity. It's not very expensive, and children like it. Okay. So let's have a look at another example. And this is an activity for one example of speaking part 3. I'm trying to move my chat box. Here we are. Okay. So speaking part 3 for flyers. And for this task, candidates are presented with 5 pictures that describe a simple story, right? And what the students have to do is that they have to continue that story by describing those pictures. They don't have to do a whole story. They're not expected to develop a narrative, but they are expected to describe these pictures. So tell me, what type of, or what is it evaluated here? Functional language, yes, yes, tenses as well. Okay, so like it says on the screen, the candidates should be able to describe things and events. So what do we need to do for practice as teachers? Well, they need to practice in telling simple picture stories and express simple feelings. They also need to express feelings like the teacher is happy, the teacher is worried, the students are worried, etc. So let me show you my example. One of the things that I have found that helps students a lot is the use of videos. Cambridge has these videos where you can see how the real exams, real candidates are presenting, are answering. So these videos are really helpful. What I have found is that sometimes, like you said at the beginning, students get very nervous that, oh, am I going to be able to do it? And because it is an interview with a stranger, with an outsider, they get very nervous. However, when they watch the videos, they're like, oh, is that it? Oh, that's really easy. It gives them much more a sense of security that they are able to, they will be able to do well in this part of the exam. So so this is great. As I said, they are available. They're for free on if you look for them on YouTube. There are a lot of videos that could be very helpful for your students. However, also, previously they were talking about Academy Stars books. They also contain videos that show the students what is expected of them, and that way it makes it easier for students to get calm and then to concentrate on the language rather than understanding the task in itself, right? So if you don't have the, as I said, if you don't have the time to look for the videos on the internet, you can always use these videos that Academy Stars offer. So I think I'm about time, right? And well, I think that's it. Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Orelly. What a lively session again. Look at all the beautiful stars
Oh,
and
that's nice.
hearts and thumbs up flashing through the screen now. So lovely to see that. You know, as I was listening to you, one thing that kept running through my old head over and over again is that this was such a great exemplification of what assessment as learning can mean in the hands of a wonderful teacher, you know, rather than just assessment of. And I think the ideas that you have showed are an almost perfect illustration of how this can be done at a very minimalistic manner sometimes, right? Where you do not have to really come up with God knows what, right? But it's just this idea of understanding just how important that is, right? And how a great exam can contribute to that, right? And of course, those young learners examinations are great in that respect, right? They give a lot of opportunity. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yes, certainly. And nowadays, these examinations are trying to mimic more like real life tasks, right? It's not just the memory of the rule, but rather than the use of the language in a real situation.
Right. Right.
So yes,
right.
that helps a lot. Yeah.
There's also a question in the chat. You may have missed it because it was running so fast, but a colleague is saying, how do you handle the challenges in tests or exam preparations that the institution demands and that the curriculum, but the levels and students' language background is limited, that mismatch the expected outcome?
Yes.
Always a problem, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it tends to happen, right? Especially when it comes to authorities or the parents, right? They expect certain levels of certain things. Like, yes, my kid comes here and I want him to get like the highest score. However, we have to be realistic, and the thing is that they many times put it on the teacher, right? Is your fault or is your responsibility
exactly.
only. But what I have found is that speaking to parents, it really helps. You know, I'm an advocate of being clear in what is expected, what can be expected, and what cannot. But we need to explain it to parents, because sometimes, you know, we assume they know and they really don't, and the parents assume that English is like that, and it is not. So just establishing dialogue between these people who have these expectations, like parents or like authorities, that they would be able to understand. I'm sure that you try that, and I'm sure that you will find a way into it. Well, that's my experience. That's what I have found.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.